Okay, so more on this horrible alchemy. Mod maps, right? Now, I'm not going to show you every damn thing that mod maps can do, but I'm going to show you basically what they do, and then you'll have an idea of what's going on. Let us load up a preset, an alchemy preset. Look, you can load presets from this browser malarkey here, but at the top there's always the drop down list. These are all the alchemy presets. So let's load up the very first one. Bam. And it's called rhythmic, that's the category, one note chord. Okay, so what is making up this sound? Well, there are three source slots working. Okay, the first one, so solo it, has got this keyboard strike, like a tine electric piano type strike chord, and that's going through an echo. All right. The second B slot has got a little tiny click sample in it, which again is going through the echo. But this is the one that we're interested in. This third, number C or letter C source slot, is playing this sax lick. But the position control here is being modulated by LFO1 ramping up. So it ramps up and then returns to the beginning. So this is the start position. So it plays and then starts at the beginning and starts at the beginning. So the first note of this sample lick is being re-triggered again and again. And it's being re-triggered roughly every half a bar. And you should be able to see the note under here in the edit. The note is 3/4 beats in length, right? So this single opening note of this sax sample playing some sort of lick is being re-triggered again and again. But if it's being re-triggered again and again, how the hell is it pitching up the second time it's triggered? Right? Well, that's because the coarse tuning here, look, is being modulated from no tuning at all, 0, up but about 12 semitones. And it's being modulated by LFO2 with a ramp up LFO shape. Right? And it's set to a speed of 6/4 beats, which means that this LFO will take 6/4 beats to go from its lowest value to its highest value. In other words, to change the pitch, the coarse tuning of that sample being re-triggered from its lowest value, which is the tuning at absolute 0, no natural pitch, up to the highest value, where it's being tuned up by 12 semitones. It takes 6/4 beats for that to happen. Right? Now the thing about a ramp up LFO is it goes from the lowest, if it's being used with positive depth, it goes from the lowest possible value to the highest possible value. It starts at the lowest and ends at the highest, then cycles back and starts that all over again. It's not the same as like a sine wave. Always starts in the middle of the possible value from lowest to highest. So if sine wave is being applied to modulate something with positive depth, it doesn't start at the lowest possible value, it starts in the middle, works up to the highest value, then it goes down through all the possible values to the lowest value, and then back to the middle value again. But a ramp up type LFO starts with positive depth, starts at the lowest possible value and works its way up to the highest, and then does that all over again and again and again. So this LFO is modulating the pitch from natural tuning 0 up to 12 semitones, because we've got positive depth there, right? Again and again and again, every 6/4 beats. But then if it's sliding the pitch up with this linear progression from lowest to highest, where the hell is this step in the pitch coming from, where the sample being re-triggered gets pitched up the next time it's triggered? Well, if we look, the coarse tuning is being modulated by this ramp LFO, but in between the ramp LFO and the depth it says number 2. Look, there's our mod maps, you see. So number 2 mod map is sitting between the LFO ramping up and the target, the pitch. Let's look at mod map 2. Aha! So what a mod map does is it sits between a modulator and the target, applying a different shape to the modulation that's being applied. Right? This LFO just is, if we take the mod map out, now this LFO, and let's extend our note, because it's taking 6 quarter beats for this LFO to cycle from lowest up to highest value. So let's make our note 6 quarter beats in length. Right? That note is going to be re-triggered again and again, but without the mod map, it's just going to slide the pitch up, 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 up over those 6 quarter beats. Yeah? But we put the mod map in between, and now those 6 quarter beats that it takes to go from the lowest to the highest pitch value is being broken up into 3 steps, and each of those steps is 2 quarter beats in length, because look at the x-axis snap, it's set to 6, which means that from one end to the other, that's the length of how long it takes the LFO to go from its lowest to highest state. 6 quarter beats is the length of this, the length of that, and it's divided into 6, so that's 2 quarter beats, 2 quarter beats, and for the final pitch, 2 quarter beats to the end, right? So that's the starting pitch for 2 quarter beats, which is down at 0 on the y-axis. So it played the coarse tuning stays at its normal tuning for 2 beats, then it jumps to the next value in height, which is the pitch working up for the next 2 quarter beats, then it jumps to the final pitch for the last 2 quarter beats as the LFO raises the pitch over its, from lowest to highest value, over 6 quarter beats. Right? So we can change the second pitch that's being climbed up to, bring this down. The x-axis is divided into 12ths for the snap, so I'm assuming these are semitones working up from the natural pitch up an octave. So if we got 1 step from the original pitch for this second step of 2 beats, right, let's go up another step. It may not be exactly semitones actually. And another step. The upper pitch that it finally reaches can be changed. Let's lower that down. Just shorten that note a smidge so that this note is exactly 6 quarter beats in length, the exact length of how long it takes this to cycle. And because it's exactly the same as the length the LFO takes to finish, it's jumping back down to the beginning. We just hear the beginning going blip at the end. So I'll just shorten this a smidge, right? Okay. So let's put that final pitch back up. Let's raise this one up another notch. And another. Like that, you see? Could go right up here like that for the second step. Whatever you like. Okay? Now the other thing we could do is let's bring this back one. So for the second step here, it's going to do 1 beat at that pitch and then slide up over the next quarter beat to the final pitch for the last, which will then be for the last 2 beats. You can put a little curve in that one. We can make this one slide up as well, like that. So it's going right. Yeah, it's brilliant, this thing, isn't it? Eh? Isn't it clever? Or that. Let's have it drop down and go back up in the second step. Yeah, you getting it? All right. Very, very, very clever stuff. Now let's go back to the actual LFO. See, the LFO is providing the time, 6 quarter beats, for it to complete a cycle, and it's providing us a straight ramp up. In other words, it's going to go from the lowest to the highest value because we're in positive depth. This is simply modifying that movement from lowest to highest depth. Right? Let's change the speed. Let's make it work at quarter beats. So the LFO will complete a cycle from lowest to highest pitch over every quarter beat. So within every quarter beat, this will happen. Step, step, step. Yeah. Well, let's go to an eighth. Or a 16th. Now it's taking just 1/16 for the LFO to cycle from lowest to highest pitch through that map. So this map, 3 steps, happens every 16th. Let's try 30 seconds. 64ths. It's already sounding a bit video arcadey, right? And at 64ths, that's all it takes for this to complete one cycle. These 3 steps happening every 64th. It sounds like Steve Vai flicking the whammy bar to make that cat yowling sound. Do you know what I mean? The only thing I would say to Apple is, can we please have a line that goes across here and shows us the position of the mod map as it's working, whichever parameter of the original modulator, right? I'd like to see a line going across to show me where it is in time, right? Okay, so look, that's basically how that works. Yeah. Let's put this back to 6 quarter beats. Bring the other sounds in. So now I've taken out that node, so it slides up across the second 2 beats to the highest pitch, etc. Right? Very creative this thing can be. Okay, so let me just show you one last time. On a raw preset. Initialize the preset. We've got that simple sawtooth oscillator in slot A, right? Go to the coarse pitch, assign it to LFO1, switch it to a ramp up, give it a speed of 6 quarter beats to do it, so, and give it some depth. And we get what we expect, a linear ramping up with positive depth from the lowest value up to the highest value. But then we put the mod map in between, mod map 1, here it is, and let's put some steps in. It's taking 6 quarters, so we'll divide this into 6ths again. And let's make some steps, baby. Oh. Come on. There we go. 6 steps. Sorry, 3 steps. And let me put my y-axis to have 12 parts roughly. Let's try that. Now let's speed the bugger up and go for Super Mario. 16ths. Whoops, 16ths. So it's going to take a 16th for this to cycle up from the low to high pitch through these 3 steps. Oh my god, I'm being jumped on by a giant mushroom. This thing's awesome. Let's go! And then to give us the real Super Mario-age, let's go to Global, Master, and just have that so it dies away. Bit of hold. You know what I mean? That is a mod map, right? It sits between the modulator and the target to make any shape as the LFO does its progression. And bear in mind that with, for example, an envelope, a particular parameter of the envelope can be assigned to a mod map, like just the sustain, how much the level changes as the note is held. This could be assigned, select it, or right click on it, and add modulation, that ramp up. We'll make a new LFO and make it a amp up. So this is now affecting, I hope that I'm going to get this right, affecting the sustain. Let's give it some depth. Right, so actually we want negative depth, don't we? So it turns down. Right, and now that is going to modulate at quarters just the sustain part of yeah. So it's vibrating the level up and down, right? Let's make it fast, yeah, like that. So you can do all that kind of thing. Yeah, whatever. An individual parameter of an envelope can be assigned to an LFO, and then I can put a new mod map on that that's doing some stepping up and down, like say that, right? And then that will be applied. That shape will be applied as the LFO does its thing over a quarter beat, but to the sustain. Right, but the pitch is still being wobbled by the first ramp up LFO, right? Going through mod map 1. Come on, with the pitch steps. You see what I mean? So all very groovy. Right, that's my chicken pie cooked. So I hope that's useful. See you for the next one.